See, I knew that, if I want to do something, I will do something. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I also wanted her approval. I
Hmm.
didn't want to completely go against. I would have definitely been a rebel and, kind of
Hmm.
found my way out to do
Hmm.
it. I knew that she cannot really stop me from doing it. But still, I wanted her approval on that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Expert Tribe. Today we have amongst us Mr. Amit Sachdeva, who is a leading fashion designer and works with handcrafted designs. His label he has launched a few years back and is doing, reaching the skies. I welcome him on the show. Hi, Amit.
Hi, Deepshika.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good as well. So I will jump directly to the question that I ask everybody working in the art side of things. What made you realize your creativity, your bent for the craft?
I think the realization really came a lot later. And I think subconsciously, I think I've always been interested into everything related to fabrics and colors since my childhood, I would say. So I think probably when I was 10 or 12-year-old, my mom would always take me to, you have these local tailors where you get your stuff stitched. And, back in those days, you know, there used to be a whole process that every consumer would be involved. Like, my mom would go to a fabric wala guy and, get some fabric and then go to a tailor, tell him that, I want it done in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe go to the embroider separately. That whole process I had seen during childhood. And I would keep asking my mom, as a 12-year-old that, how do they do it? And, go and see all that. So that was just an interest. And I was good in my art and craft and everything in school. So, I was there, the inclination towards the creative side had always been there when I was a child. Uh, and, then one thing led to another. And, there used to be discussions at home with my sister and my mom, how would you make a certain top for her? And, I still remember those conversations. And, I just had interest in that every time.
Hmm.
So picking up things from there, I would say subconsciously, and then I think consciously, I got to know when uh, I started sketching. I got really fascinated after seeing some sketches somewhere, and certain beauty pageants. I would see these models walking in these fish cut gowns and everything looking very glamorous. So I, picked up a pen the night later and started drawing them. And then I did read a couple of fashion magazines as well back then, and got to know, read a few articles for these different designers, how they're doing, what actually goes into fashion and everything. So that is where I think I was in the 10th standard or something that I started thinking about fashion seriously, that, maybe I could take up something like this as a career.
Hmm.
So that is when I think is when I was in the 10th standard, I kind of thought that, this could be something that I can follow as a dream.
That's nice. Pretty early on, you discovered your passion.
Yeah, so it was discovery and then realizing it, and then there were a lot of other things involved as well, because back then there was not too much exposure. I think Facebook had just there was no Facebook also at that time,
Hmm.
and you would not have a lot of information about it, like
Hmm.
how people are doing. So obviously I was pretty bright a student in my whole academics and everything, and my mom never really wanted me to get into fashion. Uh, she always wanted me, I could score well in my boards and everything. She always wanted me to either pursue CA or, become a doctor, engineer, all these things.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it is. Then later on, I think I remember when I passed my 12th standard, so you have a screening test. I got a form for fashion school. Um, and I told my mom that, look, this is what I'm going to appear for. And let me see. She said, no way, because you're so good in studies. Why don't you pursue? And all my friends were such, the kind of group you have with your set of friends. Everybody was very studious and wanting to come out with bright colors, get into good colleges and everything. So it was kind of a shocker for her that why do I want to get into a field like this?
Mm-hmm.
But I just convinced her. I said that let me at least appear for it, and then we'll see later what happens. Let me get through, and then we'll discuss it later. So she said, okay, fine, and that's how I think it began for me.
It was hard to convince her.
Not very. I knew that if I want to do something, I will do something. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I also wanted her approval. I didn't want to completely go against. I would have definitely been a rebel and kind of found my way out to do it. I knew that she cannot really stop me from doing it, but still I wanted her approval on that. And the course was, being a single parent, it was not very easy for me to ask for a, huge amount to be paid as fees also. So that burden I didn't want to put on her as well. So, there were a couple of things going on in my mind, but, later when I did exceptionally well with my exam there, the screening and the interview went very well. And so I told her, then she did realize it. And I told her that, I'm not going to stop my academics part of it. I'm going to do it side by side, like, continue doing my graduation side by side. So this happened after +2.
Okay.
So I told her that, I would be doing my BCom side by side, so that, if I really feel that after this I want to do an MBA or something, that will be open for me. So this is how I convinced her that, this is not that I'm completely chalking out every opportunity in future for me. So there is something that's a plan B would always be there. So then she was happy with it. And then she said, okay, if you can manage both the things, then why not go ahead with it?
Oh, okay. Since we are talking about your journey, let's take it forward. Can you describe your, when you convinced her? So what has been your journey in fashion after that?
Well, my journey, I would say, obviously, it began from the design school. I did my textile designing in my the fashion school. So textile, I don't know if you know about textile, is just dealing with fabrics, how you create a fabric, be it a knit fabric or a woven fabric. Maybe you do printing over a fabric, you do embroideries. So it just takes you from the fiber stage to the manufacturing of the fabric. It doesn't go beyond that. Fashion is something which you take a fabric and you create a garment out of it. So I studied textiles, and obviously I wanted to first, the idea was to first study textiles, and then, maybe I would, in a postgrad, maybe do a fashion degree or something like that. So textile was very interesting. It was to learn about the technical part of making the fabric, to being open to really designing it. That was very interesting, and I think the opportunity after I passed out of my college, they were fairly less for textile designers, I would say, because the fashion market was just blooming, and there weren't too many designers who would actually create fabrics and then go on to making a garment out of it. The only options we had were to join an export house. Even there, there were not many opportunities for a textile designer. So I remember, although the entire batch had done textile designing, we were kind of pushed into the fashion side somehow, because there were not many opportunities in that industry. And being in Delhi, there are not many textile firms or textile manufacturing happening. So I had to join an export house, and for a couple of years, for 1.5 years, and then for 1.5 years, then I was working under a designer, but I was working as a merchandiser, not really a designer.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't qualify to be an assistant designer because I didn't hold a degree in fashion.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I I gained some experience through, my inquisitiveness. You can say that, I would go to the other department and try and learn pattern making and, how a garment is stitched. I kind of, tried my best to learn over those years that, all the tricks and the techniques of constructing a garment. But still, I kind of, during my tenure, I realized that, I really need to know fashion in depth to be able to start a label of my own. And by that time when I was doing the job, it was very clear that I want to have my own label. And so yeah, I think that was when I decided. Then I left my job and I knew that I want to start my own label. But before that, I needed to really know the techniques of fashion design.
Okay.
For that, I did I with very few savings that I had, and I didn't want to borrow money from my mom. So I kind of arranged a setup where I would take tuitions from a faculty who was teaching in a small fashion school. So I convinced her that she would teach me for 2 months all the pattern making and everything. So she taught me for those 2 months, and I put in a lot of hard work. I used to go to the local masterjis, tell them that if you could help me out, create certain things with them. So that is how I just had my way through it, and learned a few techniques. And then once I was confident, then I thought, let me launch my label. Now I know for a fact what I had a little practical experience working with those masterjis and everything. And I started my own label with that.
So as you were mentioned that you started your own label, but how did you decide that rather than working under some big other label house, you want to start your own label?
I decided, I think one thing was very clear when I was doing fashion and when I did my job. I think most of the designers, they want a lot of freedom to creativity. And that can mostly happen when you have your own label. And I always had this thing in my mind that, I have to create my own line when I was even studying, when I was working. And even when I joined the job, I had this thing on my mind that, I have to learn it in a way that, I'm going to start my own label. So I used to pay attention on everything, not just the, designing. I used to pay attention on how things are even administered, like, the costing bit of it, the procurement, the production, the designing, everything I used to pay attention so that, and I believe that, I had this thing in me that, I can manage all that. I can multitask. I can, actually start my own business, to say.
That's great that you had the confidence, and maybe the independence that you craved for, only you could have got from your own label.
Exactly. And also, I think one of the criteria also was back then, not anymore, I would say, doesn't really exist. Designers were not paid very well, as an assistant designer. And there is still, I mean, even if you have to, like, if a designer has a team of 6 to 10 designers working under them, you really need to prove yourself first. They would hire you, even if I were to hire somebody, I would hire based on your, as a fresher, I would hire you based on your portfolio that you've built up during your college. But still, how you adapt yourself to my way of designing is when, I would feel that, you've learned it, then, I want to retain you for a long time. So, that would take at least, 2 to 3 years to slog as an assistant designer and to prove yourself. And that, that period is with a lot of struggle. Right now, I think I would see assistant designers are paid pretty well. Back then, I think it was just about you would be paid very minimal. And, not many designers would hire so many assistant designers. So their opportunities were also very less at that time.
So we have talked that if you work under a major big label, as an assistant designer, what are the drawbacks? But there are, own struggles that you might have faced in launching your own label. Could you share those stories with us?
Struggles, obviously, yeah, there were many. I mean, it is still there. There are many struggles even now that you do face. But initially, I would say the struggles were more. I think the initial teething problems I would start with, which were like, to get a place for your unit for the manufacturing. Then I would say the labor, getting skilled labor, and major difficult part was to retain them. Because retaining is also very important, because once they learn your kind of craft, and they know what you want, it's with a long term process. It's obviously it's beneficial for you that you have that understanding even with the labor, that you train them and everything. And retaining them was a very big task, I think. And getting new people, as and when you expand your business, that is also something I struggled a lot with. And I started with only my savings. I didn't want to ask for money from my mom as an investment, I remember. Even when I started my own. So basically, how after leaving my job, I started with a manufacturing, where I used to do job work for some companies, maybe an export house or whatever job work, I would get, where I need to just do on a freelance basis. I would give out my designs, whatever they like. I had to make it and give it back to them. That's how I started. So it was a small room that I had taken with just 2 tailors and me, where, I would create sample swatches and go around, show people, and maybe an export house or designers or even these stores, they would approve it. And then, on those bases, I would get orders and create and sell it to them.
Okay.
So that is how I started, and with bare minimum investment. And, that also I felt that, doing this for a year or two at least will prepare myself for, when I have to actually get into the business. I would have more experience about, other parts of the trade as well. So, and I did learn a lot during those 1 or 2 years when I was doing this for other people. And eventually then, as and when I could have more savings, I started expanding, keeping more staff. And, after 2 years, then I realized that, this is the time where I can now actually have my own label. Because before that, I could not sell it as Amit Sachdeva. This would go under their brand name.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, if I'm designing something, I want my label to it. And, then I thought that at least, now I can put in some money and, start my own label, try building up a brand through that. And that is how I launched the label Amit Sachdeva, wherein I started with a store, the flagship store of ours, and, created a line where I think I didn't follow the exact path where, you're taught in college that, this is how you're supposed to bring out a line, a collection, and then you sell it. And, I did it a very different way.
Okay.
As my own way, I had seen over a period of time. Because I think when I started, my main intention in the initial struggle stage of the business was, first I need to, because I was starting with a very minimum investment, I wanted the flow of money to come in very soon. So, I would say there are 2 ways to do it. One is that, you build up a brand and, you invest a lot of money into it. And, and then the other way is that, you kind of try with a lot of hard work, and then you reach a certain stage in your business when you have a lot of money flowing in. So I started it that way. So I came up with a collection which was very commercial. I knew that, something like this is going to sell in numbers, and, initially paying huge rentals, that's going to take care of it. So rather than having a particular collection, I launched like 5, 6 collections at the same time when I opened up my store. Because if one person is coming to your store to buy something, I wanted them to pick up at least 4 or 5 outfits. I wanted to, deliver them a varied collection rather than just 1 or 2 collections.
Right.
So, they can buy, the whole family can buy something from me. So I wanted to cater to a larger number than, just be a designer who's known for, coming up with a collection and then that was my intent and that worked really well for me, actually, I would say.
Okay.
I was able to earn profits, I would say, from the second or the third month of opening, which was very good. And, to be able to achieve profits in the beginning like that. So,
if you guys want to know about a whole lot of stuff about various career options, about different fields, how to get into them, what to do, and everything about that particular field, then we are at your service. We'll keep bringing you all sorts of people from all around the world with their extensive knowledge, their experience, what they have been through to reach where they are today, and how they succeeded in their particular field, and everything about that thing. All you have to do is just subscribe to us by pressing that subscribe button down below, and also like and comment on our videos. You can also tell us about which field you want to know in our comment section, and we'll definitely get back to you. You can also press the bell icon somewhere up above so that you will be the first one to know when we upload any video, because we are Expert Tribe, helping you to change your stories, change your life.